that we was royalty over here. We didn't believe in. We believed in the adornments of nature was more beautiful than the adornments of man. We didn't wear crowns. We wore feathers.
You know, another thing too, then Martin Lawrence, when he fit in that movie Knights Black Knights, then he go back into medieval times in America, not in the overseas, because he was in America when he went through that thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's totally possible.
Yeah. And he was in the castles, and they was talking about, and they was calling him more up in that damn tape too.
Yeah, he was getting on his nerve too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he said, "Oh, you keep on calling me more." Like, yeah, you sure right. He kept on saying, "Yeah, you're right." Oh shit, I'm about to go back and watch that again, man. I'm about to go. Oh shit, he just started some shit, right? So I'm about to go back and watch that again. He was getting irritated about it.
So when I tell the people that we had castles on the land, they turned our castles into prison, just like they turned Big Mama house from orphanage into a goddamn plantation.
Hey, yeah, got you. Go ahead.
So the Lewis and Clark expedition is what declared the land vacant.
Okay.
Now, using the salvage law, they can exercise a squatter's right, and then they can start dividing the land up in what they call the Northwest Territory.
Man, that's crazy. So let me put this together in my head so far to sum here what we're talking about. All right, so we built these castles. We were living in these castles, royalty. When the war started, when they was trying to steal our people land, we went to go help them on the east, like Noble Drew Ali was pointing, saying that they came from the left side. We went to the left to go help these people, and when we left, they came and squatted on our property, on our castles, and said, "Oh, they left them."
Right. They said, "There, look, this is how it sounds. Something like this. There's no royalty here. All of the castles are vacant."
What? Go ahead, man.
All right. Now that they declare the castles vacant, who's going to exercise the jurisdiction over their salvage claim?
That's right.
Right. The salvage claim falls under Uniform Commercial Code as a business transaction, and the Uniform Commercial Code ties you right back into the Papal Bulls.
Yeah.
The Sanctum Bull, pull it up. Let's go.
Sanctum Bull, I got you. The Sanctum.
It's Unum, UN,
UM. Okay, Unum. Okay, UN.
UM. New word, SA.
I got you.
NCTUM. And then go to all. Read what it say.
It says the Unctum Sanctum is a papyrus bull that was issued by Pope Boniface the 8th on 18 November 1302. It laid down dogmatics proposition on the unity of the Catholic Church, the necessities belonging to it for. Hold on, I gotta blow finish what it said right here. Where is it? For internal salvation, the position of the Pope as supreme head of the church, and the duties tending arising to submit to the Pope, to belong to the church, and thus to attain salvation. The Pope
emphasized higher position of the spiritual in comparison with the secular order. The historian Brian Tierney calls it probably the most famous document on church and state in medieval Europe. The original document is lost, but versions of the text can be found in the register of Boniface VIII in the Vatican archives. The bull was definitive statement of the late medieval theory of hierarchy, which is aristocracy, which is hereditary rights, which argue for the temporal as well as spiritual supremacy of the Pope. Now, you see where it say temporal, right?
Yeah.
And then it say as well as spiritual supremacy. The word temporal, click on it.
Okay.
Because they got it highlighted for a reason. The temporal power of the Holy See designates the political and secular influence of the Holy See, the leading of a state by the Pope and Catholic Church, as distinguished from its spiritual or pastoral activity. So this is declaiming the use separate from the religion, right? So yeah, that's called a 3-tier crown.
Yeah, you broke that down. You broke that down. It's the same pope. It's the same crown that the Ethiopian Christian Coptic niggas be wearing. And
that's where they got it from.
Yeah,
they stole it from them. So when they was telling us that they burned down the libraries of Alexandria, right? Who was supposed to do that?
Right, go ahead.
Ask Google, who burned down Alexandria? So this is the war between Rome rising to power, trying to put down the Greco-Egyptian collaboration to fight them back. Look, gay ass Julius Caesar. You know his first name is Gaius, right?
Yeah, Gaius.
Yeah, I always call him gay ass because that's how it sounds. All right, now it's a pursuit of the property. No, in pursuit of Pompeii into Egypt in 48 BCE. Caesar, I can't read, it's too little.
The Caesar was cut off by the large fleet of Egyptian boats in the harbor of Alexandria. He ordered the boats to be burned. The fleet was destroyed, but the flames spread through the city and the library.
It just so happened to spread to the library.
Yeah, right. They
okay, now
doing shit like that.
If you pull up the book Unto Thee I Grant. Unto Thee, THE.
Okay. The dude's name is
Unto Thee, UNTO, new word. Right there, the first one. Okay, economy of life. It don't matter which one you click on, they all the same. Okay. The one I got is the brown one, though.
The right here, the first one?
Yeah.
All right, let me save it. You got the brown one like that one, or this brown one like this one?
There's actually the actual book is in the second row.
Golden Trade of the Moors. Let me say that. I'm gonna come back to that. Might have something to do with the shit you talking about.
Okay, in this book right here, it's a picture of a monk standing in front of a whole bunch of ancient scrolls in Tibet. And the guy that they get a credit for translating this, Ramathario, he went to get it from the Tibetan monks. The Unto Thee I Grant is in the Circle 7 in parts called Holy Instructions from the Prophet.
What? Go ahead.
All right. This was originally written, according to the introduction, by Amenhotep III in Egypt. And the scrolls were sent to Tibet to be kept by the monks for posterity. That's what it's saying in the introduction. Okay, now, the reference was for the picture of the monk in front of the scrolls. Right? I don't know if they show any of the inside of the book or if they're going to show that. But
no, they probably don't.
Look at, put photos between Grant and inside. There you go. See the old man right there at the bottom with the scroll in his hand?
Yeah, right there.
That's it right there.
Let me save him. Let me blow him up for you. And wait till I get that hard drive because I'm gonna be able to organize all your classes. They're gonna be lit.
Read what it said at the bottom. Chief Lama.
Chief Lama, Abbot.
Or Abbot.
Abbot. I can't see this. Bakelin? I can't
holding
see
ancient scroll inside Lamazri of Tibet frontier.
Yeah.
That's the ancient mystic order of the Rose and Cross right there. Okay, now look, you see the scrolls, how they keep them?
Yeah, right here.
Every major earth text that has a significant impact on culture is there. Every major earth, some you don't even know exist.
What?
Now, this is what the Library of Alexandria was made like, similar to this. They didn't keep theirs like this. They kept double-rolled scrolls and palm leaf parchments, and that's what it was. All of these scrolls that they had duplicates made in Alexandria that they kept in Rome. So when they was burning down Alexandria, they already knew that they had secured the information for the youth in Rome safe and secure. So now they're safe to burn down Alexandria.
Makes sense.
So in one of the books I was reading on the ancient priesthood, pyramid priesthood, right? It said that the pyramid priests left with the scrolls by the dark of night.
Wow. I heard that before. Go ahead.
And then it said they went east. Well, we know if you're in Egypt, in Cairo, or in Alexandria, and you go east, you're going toward Jerusalem.
Yep.
Right? Now, why would they go east on land to take it to the Pope in Rome?
Go ahead.
Because you can't go by boat because they're fighting on the water.
Yeah.
So you have to go east to go around the Mediterranean to get back to Rome on the other side.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right? So this is why they left with the scrolls going east, taking them to the Vatican. That's how we know where they went. Right? Because they didn't show up anywhere but Egypt. And the ones that went to Tibet left scrolls there. Now Tibet is southeast to Egypt. And to the north, you have Rome, but it's separated by the Mediterranean. So you just said they was fighting and they was burning down the boats, remember?
Yeah.
So that's supposed to cause the fire jumped across the water onto the land and burned down the building. Make that shit make sense, Elder. How did water jump out the water? How did fire jump out the water and burn down the village?
Right. That don't even make it. They don't even, unless they shooting Bob. Unless the niggas had rockets or something back then. I'm gonna pull this picture right here because it shows that map you looking for. Right here. Damn. What the hell? There you go.
You see where it say Alexandria?
Yeah.
Now that's the only way you can get there going east is you got to go around the landlocked.
Yeah, right here. Matter of fact, they had to go around the Black Sea really too. Go this way, like this.
Now remember,
that's when Hannibal right there.
Hannibal went through France into Italy, coming from Macedonia in that area. Right? And it was a nigga in the Senate that sold out Hannibal.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? Hannibal needed more supplies. He had Rome defeated. And when he sent for more supplies, the senator was like, fuck him, let him find his way home.
Damn, it looked like a boot too right there.
Yeah, that's Italy. So now, when he left his stronghold to secure Rome, Rome had sent armies through Spain across the Pillars of Hercules to invade Carthage. Now, Hannibal was scurrying back, coming around the other way, and then he got some soldiers catching ships across the Mediterranean in order to get back to the homeland because they was under siege by Rome. Right? And that's what caused Carthage to fall to Rome. That nigga looked like us, but he ain't us, and sold us out.
Yeah, sold us out, man. Get them niggas right. So Sicily right here, you know, African, Nubians was there, man. Look at that.
Right. The thing about Sicily is when Hannibal's army was in France, Italy, all up in there, they was having babies with the villagers close by. So they was sending them all to Sicily to keep Hannibal's soldiers' children safe. That's why all of them are so heavily melanated in Sicily.
That's right.
Right. That's the offspring of Hannibal's people. Now remember, Egypt settled Europe starting from the island of Crete. You see the island of Crete right there in the middle, right there. That's the first school in Europe was built there for Europeans.
Well, go ahead.
All right. Now, from Tuscany, which is roughly where Rome is on the map, the Etruscans settled Tuscany, and the Tuscany or the Etruscans who lived in Tuscany became the progenitors of Rome. They took over from Alexander by taking and merging the Greece and Roman empires. Now, if you look, that says it's a Greco-Roman Empire. Greece is first, which most people would think that mean they won.
Yeah.
But they couldn't have won in Rome. So if he was born in 7 AD, he lived 33 years, right? That's 40 AD. Not until 325 did something form called the Nicene Council. Now, the Nicene Council was formed in Rome, right? So, who the fuck is Rome? Who is the Roman soldiers? Keep this in mind when you ponder this story. Who the fuck is Rome? In the BC period, they had a conqueror in Greece by the name of Alexander. Now, the history books say that Alexander was chosen by God, right? And it was from Alexander's conquest of the Indus Valley did they establish a methodology for ruling, and the doctrine is called the Republic, right? So when you go study the Republic, in the history of the Republic, it was pontificated upon in the what they used to call it when they used to have a word. Before it was called debate, it was called rhetoric. So in the rhetoric, the rhetoric that was being tossed around on the Senate floors of Rome was called a republic. Now, they call this government over here a democratic republic. Republic means ruled by law. Democracy supposed to mean ruled by the people. A democratic republic is the people establish a law that governs the entirety of the land, right? So now, in Rome, they changed the gender of God. Well, right, what the fuck you mean in Rome? They changed the gender of God. Which God gender was switched? Why did they switch that one? And how can you show me? It's real simple. They tell us we in hell already, right? Hell is Helen. Helen settled Greece before the Etruscans settled Rome. I'm gonna let that sink in. The Hellenists were Egyptians of the I-10 priests, the same family and blood as Tut, right? Same family and blood as King Tut, all right? Except in like 12 BC to 7 BC, somewhere up in there, you got this love affair and this queen named Cleopatra trying to hold on to the rulership rights of Egypt as Rome is advancing to conquer. So she got two dudes she's dealing with, Mark Antony, and she's dealing with I forgot that motherfucker name. Brutus. No, Caesar. Julius Caesar. One of them fucking Caesars, them gay ass motherfuckers. Anyway, so Cleopatra trying to hold on to the matriarchy. Right now, when Rome get the control of the deities, right? They change Helen. They change Helen from a female in Greece to a male in Rome. All you gotta do is put it side by side. Roman pantheon, Greek pantheon. The Greek culture is called Hellenistic culture. The Roman culture is called Greco-Roman culture. Because Rome conquered Greece, but they put Greece first in order to delude the minds of the people into believing that Greece conquered Rome. Why would they want to do that? All right, so now, we're just going to follow the narrative they're giving us. I'm just going over the story in broad strokes, because this shit detailed in a motherfucker. I'm using broad strokes. All right, now, 325, right? Subtract 40 from 325, you get 285 years since the so-called crucifixion took place. That's if he was born in 7 AD. Now, the true math is the key to unlock the Christ code, but that's not where we at right now. So in 325, they assembled the Nicene Council. They got all of the leaders in one room, right? These leaders were mystics, priests, they call pagan ritual leaders, basically coven leaders, male and female. But the council erased any female that was in there. So you won't never know that it was women in the Nicene Council unless you can remote view it. Now, in the Nicene Council, they established something that they call the Nicene Creed. Look that shit up. Now, this is in the 300s. The Etruscans is taking over, they establish in Rome, in Europe. Once Rome is established, Europe go into what they call the Dark Ages. Now remember, they said that the Moors civilized Europe. They taught them art, science, music. They taught them philosophy, religion. They penned Latin as a language. Greek was penned by Egyptian priests. Latin was penned by Etruscan Moorish priests. I understand the difference. Okay, now, they got a scholarly language now in 725 or the 700s in the AD period. So we're talking 400 years of Catholic Church domination before they can get enough stronghold in Europe to bring them in mass. So the history books tell us the Moors, the Etruscans, went into Europe in the Dark Ages around 700, and they occupied Europe all the way up until 1611 when their final stronghold over Europe was broken. This is the story. This is the history they gave us. Now, in this story that they telling us, a couple of things is happening over this, from the 700s to the 1600s. So we're talking almost 1,000 years, 900 and some years of occupation by the Moors, right? Why in the fuck did they get kicked out of Europe if they were civilizing these people? And where in the fuck did they go? And why did they go there? Right? Nobody not asking none of them questions. They're just following the narrative that they gave us. Okay, so we're going to follow the narrative. In 1611, they finally got the stronghold broke. And they kicked them all out. Right? Why are they kicking these people out of Europe? What are they doing over there after you get done civilizing somebody? Now they so civilized, how did they kick them out? Right? Ask the question, how did they get the Moors kicked out of Europe? Spanish motherfucking Inquisition, the motherfucking, all of the rebellions to the crown in Europe caused them to put in what they call a fictitious royal family, a cat's paw, a figurehead, a face, a front. Where did these motherfuckers go? All of them didn't leave Europe. Many of them end up going into seclusion, right? In the Prussian mountains with all of the motherfucking gold. What the fuck is the Prussian mountains? If you go back, there was an empire that was called Prussia in the north of Europe. The Prussian Empire is where you get your Khazarians, mulattoes, Moorish, European hybrid children from. Right? Now, you got to understand what's taking place all over the world at the time. At this time, Rome is fighting Huns, Rome is fighting Mongolians, and Rome is still fighting off the Babylonian empires. Like 30 motherfuckers. So now all this shit going on, they capturing POWs in warfare. From the Huns, from the Mongolians, and from the Hindus of Hindustan that wasn't India yet. Now, in the middle of this, in 1492, some motherfucker named Christopher Columbus supposed to discover America. I'm gonna let y'all marinate on that. Some European in 1492 named Christopher Columbus supposed to discover America. It's a problem with that. I'm just trying to let that sink in. In 1492, the Spanish crown sent somebody named Christopher Columbus to find an alternate trade route to Hindustan that wasn't called India yet. That sink in. Because they tell us in the history books, in the textbooks in the school, that when Christopher Columbus came, he was looking for an alternate trade route and he got lost and thought he was in India. That don't make no sense. It doesn't make sense. It makes zero amount of sense. First of all, Pietro del Negro is a Moorish navigator. And the navigators can tell you where you at in the middle of the ocean by the position of the stars without seeing no land. But they're telling us Columbus got lost. Not only are they telling us he got lost, they telling us that when he finally found land, he just struck up on some land. We know it today as Hispaniola was what they called it. When he landed there, he named it Hispaniola. Today is Dominica, Haiti. Okay. So now, Columbus got lost, is what they telling us. And he thought he was in India. How is this possible when India is not India yet? This in your textbook, in your school, that they teaching your children is bullshit. Columbus got lost. He got lost. And in the course of him getting lost, he thought he was in India and called the people Indians. But the problem is, India wasn't India yet. Can anybody see what I'm saying here? Columbus got lost and he said he was in India, but India wasn't called India yet. What the fuck is these people talking about? This the story they gave us now. This the narrative. Now, he said when he got here, he met some copper-colored people. Now, let that sink in. In his diaries, because they will print that shit out. They got the book. They got all of his log from when he, well, most of it is in there, but some of the shit they wanted to keep secret, they left it out.
He thought he was in India. But India wasn't named India yet. But we were known as Indinka. We was known as Inca. But we weren't known as no India. They called us Indico, which became known as Indigo, as we refer to the children now as Indigo children. But it wasn't no fucking India. Where this nigga think he going? Are y'all not catching that part? Okay, let's go on with the narrative. So once he got over here, he went back to Europe and he told Ferdinand and Isabella he discovered a new world. Okay, I got a person. Somebody want to come in. I'm gonna let him in and see what we got going on here.
Let it free go. Go get a 2-piece sauce in that cocoa bean looking shit.
You ain't all the way clear yet. Wait. You ain't all the way clear yet. You got to clear up some more. Where your camera at? Turn your camera on. See, this is the bullshit they be on social media. So I'm gonna keep on talking, right? Yeah. Yeah, they dropped her out the call. Try to log back in if you're trying to get back in. Now they telling us, this is a story they want us to believe. Now you gotta remember, they can't fool us no more because we know the story. I'm going over it with y'all right now. Pietro del Negro, in order to be a navigator, right? The navigators of the day were the most highly educated non-priest class. But many of them were also priests, right? The navigators, the ones who know how to read the stars, map the stars to what's going on Earth, right? They were the highest form of education that was not a priest. And many of them were also priests. Now, catch-22, you starting to get it. He was sent by niggas. He wasn't sent by niggas. He was brought. Pietro del Negro is the name of the nigga that brought him over here. Right? His name is, they call him Peter the Black in English. In Latin and Spanish, they call him Pietro del Negro. Right? Peter the Little Black. Sometimes they call him Pietro del Negrito. But no matter how you cut it, he was a black motherfucking skinned motherfucker named Peter. Right? So that's not a problem. But when Columbus get back to Europe, he reported to Isabella and Ferdinand, I discovered a whole new world. This is the beginning, right here, the beginning of the New World Order. Because watch what happened. Immediately upon returning and telling Isabella and Ferdinand of their discovery of the so-called New World, Isabella and Ferdinand told them, don't tell nobody until we get some flags all up and down that motherfucker. Right? But the word got out. When the word got out, something happened. Right? Something happened when the word got out. Y'all remember the history, what they told us? Oh, don't worry about it. We got this shit covered. So once they got over there and they start spreading the word about the new world that Columbus and the nigga Peter the Negro, they discovered the new world. Now, first of all, let me stop right here. Let me tell you. So the history says that Christopher Colombo, or his name was Cristóbal Colombo, was a what you call that? Sephardic Jew. Now, this became disturbing to me because we got three main classes of Jew in modern era. We got Ashkenazi, we got Sephardi, and we got Khazarian. And not one of these motherfuckers, not one, Ashkenazi, Sephardi, or Khazarian is one of the 12 children or tribes of Israel. Go look it up. Who the fuck is these motherfuckers? I already gave y'all the spoiler on the Khazarians. Right? Now they call the Ashkenazi and the Sephardi are known as the Spanish Jew and the French Jew in modern colloquial terminology. Both of them are Latin subcultures. French is a subculture language of Latin. Latin is the parent language of French, Spanish, Italian, and Dutch, and a couple more. Latin is the parent language. So the French, the Italians, and the Spaniards are connected by linguistics that was written by Etruscan Moors. All right, now that y'all get this part, when they all start coming over here, who came first? Who came first in mass? They were called conquistadors. Break the word down and translate it. Conquest, two-door. The two-door royal family. Look them up. Google who are the Tudors. Tudor. It's an entire royal family. I see you. I see you, Simone. So they are these royal families, Tudors, right? These are a bigger family, an older family than what you call your Merovingians. Your Merovingians is a subset under the Tudors. All royal families from the gentry came by way of Tudors in Europe. So, the royal families became fractured when they got kicked out of Europe. Where the motherfuckers go? Okay, so now, what happened when they got over here? We know they came over here. So they tried to masquerade as the people of the land. Their philosophy and their thinking is this. If we can keep these people from ever realizing who they are and their blood ties to the land, we can just say we them. And we can say they came from somewhere else. And if we tell them they came from somewhere else long enough, they bound to believe it. So who's writing this story? Who's telling this motherfucking narrative for us to see it as if we came on a ship? Columbus came on a ship, right? The Mayflower, them was ships. But I can't find no slave ship. I ain't the only one been looking. Malachi York was looking for a slave ship. He couldn't find one either. Dane Calloway been looking for a slave ship. He can't find one. Nation of Islam been looking for a slave ship, and they can't find one. But we can find immigrant ships. We can find immigrant ships from Europe that also stopped in Africa because it's in their log. I didn't make the shit up. It's in their log. They wrote that shit. So we know they pathological liars. So do we believe them or do we don't? They wrote that we came on ships. My mama told me we ain't come on no fucking ships. She don't know what them people talking about. Well, who is these motherfuckers that came on the ship? Those are what you call your black people, BLAQ. It's a legal terminology and a legal classification of a subset of a group of people. And it ain't got nothing to do with their skin color. Right? They the same motherfuckers kicked these motherfuckers out of Europe. So if they kicked them out of Europe, why are they coming over here to the great melting pot? Right? And what's this one drop of blood doctrine? Right? You own it, Shatoya, Moors. But it's two kinds of Moors. Because the legalese was used to confuse the issue at hand. What the fuck you talking about, Rod? The legalese was used to confuse the issue. Okay. So in our culture and how we have developed in these here so-called United States of America, the legalese is the language lawyers talk. Medicalese is the language doctors talk. Colloquial language is the language commoners talk. And then you have what you call political jargon, which is the gentry. These four classifications of royal hierarchy. When you know the medicalese, the legalese, the gentralese, and the colloquial language, they can't trick you no more. Trickery out the door. Right? So now we got these motherfuckers telling us we ain't from here. They contracted with what we call Dawes Roll Indians. If your family traced back to the Dawes Roll, that means either two things. Either your family was inserted to steal a birthright, or your family was injected to remove a birthright. The Dawes Roll
my energy. I'm more of a dreamer or like a healer. I have a lot of dreams. I don't
we
always
call
want to,
them dream walkers.
huh?
In the native tradition, we call them dream walkers.
Yeah. And I'm learning more about my indigenous side. But from my mom line, we Blackfoot. On my dad's side, we have more Cherokee.
So look up that word. You'll find out your real tribal name by doing the etymology on Cherokee.
Yeah, cause no, and that's crazy. I was gonna tap into that. Like I've seen it like really correlates with Blackfoot.
Blackfoot was one of the tribes. They called them Blackfoot because they had walked barefooted and the sun had cooked their feet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they was called Blackfoot, but they was an original tribe. They a spinoff from the Choctaw and the Chickasaw.
Okay.
They fell up under the Iroquois confederations. The kindred tribes is called the Crow. I can't remember all of them right now, but those were they were all connected under the generic term Cherokee. Cherokee is a play on words, Cherry Key, which was the
Mm.
George Washington challenge. That's why
Oh,
that's what Noble Drew Ali discovered by infiltrating the Moorish Zionist temple.
okay.
He brought us, that's why he put all of their secrets in the public domain. So now we can put the pieces to the puzzle together.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so that means I just gotta go do some deeper researching because I didn't really know that, but I've heard the two. I've seen the two, like the Blackfoot and Cherokee, kind of be more linked in together.
Yeah, those are some of them. They were from the Mississippi Delta, going down from Jackson to Macomb in the middle part of Mississippi. And it's right up in there is where all of the tribes, the Mississippian tribes, diverged over into. We stopped off there from the west. We stopped off because that's where we got our marching orders for the Gullah Wars from Big Mama. Big Mama was in New Orleans at the time.
Okay.
Right. So all of the Big Mamas got together and was like, stop the bloodshed. The only way to stop the bloodshed was to challenge them to a conjure war. And we knew they couldn't win. But we didn't have the high chiefs on the land to end it sooner. And the ones who seen it, the lesser chiefs, weren't in the position to do anything about it without getting murdered.
Okay. Okay, that's some notes to self to definitely go to keep that in mind when I'm doing, because I definitely want to. I've been doing a little more deeper research into just my native side now, or my indigenous side on both. I didn't even know. I actually just found out on my dad's side that we do have a form of, we have native blood in us, but I've always known from my mom's side.
Look, we is the native blood.
Yeah.
The Mississippian tribes is the parent tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, when they talk about tying into the vine, they all talking about being married to one of the old Mississippians. So when all of the tribes come from foreign places, they bring, the women make the arrangements of who, okay, well, you rank this high on your clan, so then I mean you got to marry into the clan over there. That's why it's the great melding pot.
Right.
We darker on the East Coast than we are on the West Coast because we traded wives with Africans. We didn't just start mixing with them people, but that's why it was decided to say we was from Africa, because we had been trading with them for thousands of years, which included wives.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, so royal families, that's old news. If you don't know the way that the royal families operate, you'll never figure out why we look the way we look at different parts of the land. You won't never figure out why every goddamn culture from Nova Scotia in the north to the bottom of Venezuela to the Samoan and Tongan Islands to Hawaii all got a community in Florida. That's just why they came to fight the Gullah Wars. All of the islands, since you got a little Jamaica, a little Haiti, a little Grenada, all of those islands sent soldiers to fight the Gullah Wars. After the wars, they set up their communities and maintain their cultural identity to the islands that they came from.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy because this confirmation, my sister, one of my sisters, she's one of my she's a good friend, a good sister, and she's a little elder than me, but she's told me about that, and I really didn't know that much about it, but she did tell me about it. So it just kind of confirmation on what she's been telling me. But okay. I did just have a question, and I just forgot about it. What was it? I did just have a question. I don't know. I just have to wait till it come back to me. But yeah.
Yeah. So somebody asked
I'm grateful
came
to
over here and traded with us. Study Mansa Musa. They came over here and they liked it so much they stayed. Right.
okay.
The Mansa Musa staff of rulership was found over here on the island in Central America. That means that whoever inherited that staff is the rightful heir to rule over Ghana, but they didn't want to go back over there. This was heaven on earth, the Americas. This was the central hub for all knowledge, all conjures, right? We didn't believe in some of the dirt that these motherfuckers has been doing to us. It wasn't in our culture. Now it's a part of our culture because they brought it over here and used it on us. Now we got to use it back.
Right.
That's why we've been stopping the bloodletting, right? And they pulling all of the GMO foods off the shelves. This is why you got whole Walmarts with crime scene tape up while they taking the food out.
Is that why, like, they're letting, like, certain stuff like that shooting that just happened in Virginia, like, letting stuff like that happen or something as a cover-up? Because, I mean, they got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, so if you go look, over the last 2 years, you had a ridiculous amount of fires at slaughterhouses.
Yeah, yeah, I remember.
Like that. That's what that is, getting rid of GMOs. They doing insurance scams so they don't take that loss. One of them had a fucking plane flying to the slaughterhouse. A little twin-engine Cessna flew into a slaughterhouse.
But then now you have, like, different things that's going on. Like, now they want to stop natural herbalists for...
That's smoke and mirrors. That's the trigger to people that's into homeopathy and naturopathic medicine to get their ass in this fucking fight. Inform the people of what these motherfuckers is doing and stand firm on your position as a healer. If they don't do that, they're going to lose their rights to be a healer because they're not participating and telling the people that don't let the motherfuckers do that. It's just it's an antagonism to call to action.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get that, because I was telling my homegirl too, like, you know, like, they can't just do that. Like, how you gonna stop people from selling herbs and stuff? Like, they grow in nature.
They can do it if we let them.
Right. That's the thing. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. If we let them. And I get that part too. That's what I've actually been.
But as of right now, any legislation going on is fraud. It's fake news.
Yeah.
The Senate and the Congress is closed. The White House is fucking closed. The Federal Reserve is fucking closed. All that shit closed.
Now, okay, so I remember you saying that before. Like, I remember that. Now, okay.
The fall of America has come. Babylon fell in y'all face and y'all wasn't even watching. So they running the narrative to challenge. Right? They running the narrative to challenge ideology. Every ideology has to be tested. And if we don't realize that we the ones in the position of power now, then they can't give us the power.
I feel like a lot of us are waking up, no matter what level people on, but it's like a mass majority of our people waking up, like just waking up in general. And I be feeling like, okay, a lot of things be like so we see what they into, like the algorithms and stuff like that. So then let's start doing this or let's start doing that. Like, that's that ain't gonna work either.
Yeah.
Just because I remember, like, just this summer, you know, you got a lot of readers and stuff, a lot of diviners, the women, you know, divining and stuff like that. Then now for what was that going on? I think it was around Juneteenth, and now McDonald's offering here in Georgia, McDonald's offering readings, tarot readings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on
now.
So
everything they doing now is geared toward trying to wake up a cross section of the community that hasn't been reached. A lot of the people that's fast food practitioners that go on a regular basis, they live off fast food. They got a fast food mentality and think that everything's supposed to happen instant.
Yeah.
Throw that shit in the microwave for 30 seconds.
I had an older friend that used to call this the microwavable generation.
Yeah, this is
he was right though.
Instant gratification. Everybody want it right now. They can't stand to wait. They can't stand to go through the pains of Like the shit that I've been doing for the last 3 years, before they sent me to do this, I told my mama and the old lady, I was like, fuck them niggas. They like this oppression shit. I don't want to be subject to the ridicule with telling them the truth, because most of these motherfuckers would rather be comfortable in the lie and go along to get along than be waking up by the truth. Nigga, why you disturbing my peaceful
so
sleep? I was being good for massa. You know, so
from a feminine standpoint, it's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate, but it's like I understand that too, because sometimes it just get to a point like, I mean, it's like the saying, you can't put a gun to somebody's head and make them take the information.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So I didn't want to go through this because look, literally, I done been on here with Moors coming in hostile, but they leave with a different mindset just by going over the information. What do we already know? We don't need no outside information. This is what we already know.
Right.
Right? They came, they gave us the Bible and everything associated with it. Before they came, we didn't associate with nothing that's biblical. Now we want to be everything.
They are.
Yeah. And now we want to be everybody in the Bible. We want to be the Hebrews. We want to be the Moabites. We want to be the Canaanites. Them motherfuckers ain't got nothing to do with it.
That's why I kind of started my journey from the Hebrews. And then I just kind of ventured over to esoteric knowledge and then, you know, ATRs. But yeah, the Hebrews is something.
Look, them niggas funny to me. They believe that they can tell you that they organic to this land, but they Hebrews. Hebrews being the ones that crossed over. That mean they crossed over from somewhere else to get here. That mean they don't belong.
You know, they go off the narrative of the slave ship. Yeah. Like they came over here by. So it's like that's why we here. But okay.
Pack your shit back to the Middle East since you a Hebrew. You ain't got to stay here. Pack your shit.
It's been few that call themselves going back. And was like, oh no, this is not what we thought this was. I know you're talking about like Ben Ami Carter. Ben Ami took a whole community over there. You know, none of us know about Operation Exodus ran by the Mossad in the early 80s, where they airlifted thousands of falashas from Ethiopia to legitimize the state of Israel because they know the real so-called Hebrews is falashas in Africa. Right.
So they had a whole thing under the silence. The Mossad done it. The Mossad is Israeli Secret Service. Operation Exodus. Remember Marley was singing Exodus, movement of the people. This is what he's talking about. They was moving the motherfuckers right after that song came out from 77 to 83. You got to remember, that Israel over there was mapped out by a guy named Ralph Bunch, bootlicking ass nigga. Went over there because they didn't know where they was from. They was going to originally set up Israel in Guyana. They was going to set it up in Brazil. Then they picked a couple of different islands, and they was like, nah, ain't none of that going to work because ain't nobody going to believe that shit. So, and the Balfour Declaration was the agreement to set up the Zionist state of Israel that's over there now masquerading as an original government over there in a foreign land.
Okay.
That shit don't got nothing to do with us. But we just want to take everybody else's burdens like they our own. That shit not our burden. That's not our cross to bear.
Yeah.
Our shit got to do with feathers, peace pipes, marijuana, peyote, and motherfucking dancing around the fire while the grid tell the stories by song. That's our shit.
Yeah.
Where the fuck they come from with this bop your head 5 times a day on the ground? You can't live your life like that.
The ladies on my mom's side, they are some storytellers.
Grits.
The women on my mom's side, they are some storytellers and tell a good story.
Yeah, those are grits. All right, sweetie, I'm going to take another caller. I want to see if I can get Paige Flowers in here if she's still watching.
All righty. Well, it was good talking to you.
You too, sweetie. Keep it up. Keep your head up.
I will. Thank you.
All right. How you doing?
Good, good.
I've been watching you kick ass.
Oh, I'm over here eating my meal, listening to y'all. I'm like, yeah, this is the conversation our people need to hear. You know what I mean? It's
Look, it's imperative, and it's painful to hear it, but it's the truth.
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, one of the sisters I used to talk to, used to be friends with. She went over there to Israel and saw how the Hebrews was living with that subsidized housing.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible. Worse than over here. Worse than over here. Projects worse than over here. Horrible.
On All I Love, if you get that nigga bent at me in front of a camera, that nigga cheesing from ear to ear. Why them people living like that?
Mm. And she said they're not really vegan or raw. Some of them.
They niggas from the hood.
Mm-hmm.
They just claim they Israelites and moved over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She said it was so sad. I said, damn, sister. She said that the environment once you leave outside of the compound is very nice, right? Because of course that built it up. But on that particular land where they at, it's foul. Worse than how they do us over here. So y'all done packed up y'all shit and moved all the way over there just to get treated worse.
In the name of motherfucking Yahweh.
Yeah. Yep.
Bad.
It's bad. This is why it's so important. I sit here and I get on these calls with you and I listen to other brothers and sisters that tell us, look, we from over here. You know, I don't know if you know about the sister Linda Bay. I met with her in person. And she's really a cashier because she'll show you everything from beginning to end, how we was already over here. You know what I mean? She dig in the archive. She helped me get my family tree together all the way from the 1600s. I said, we ain't never left. North Carolina, you know, Texas, you know, we ain't never went nowhere.
Only place we went was Florida to fight the Gullah Wars.
Right. Right. Like what you said.
Yeah. We came from all parts of the land to fight the Gullah Wars. The Great Migration, the Great Industrial Migration was us just going back home.
Yep. Yep. Wow.
Big Mama says it's a conjure war at this point, you know, and they never stop attacking us.
Right. Never
They never stop burning and flooding cities out. Shit. Philadelphia moved. They bombed that motherfucker in the 80s.
Yeah. Bombed it. And I was also talking to Linda, and she told me too that all of them was a part of the Moorish Science Temple. They just didn't want to put their children in them schools. A lot of people don't know that those brothers and sisters were woke. They were about pushing Noble Drew Ali's agenda. But the Rizzos bombed the people because they didn't want to send their children to school.
Now,
and
they went in under the pretense of serving an eviction notice.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And when they told them they wasn't going nowhere, instead of doing what you normally do with eviction notice, they sent in troops. Before the fire ever started, they was just shooting randomly in these people's homes.
Yeah.
With babies sleeping in rooms and shit. That's how they was able to get everybody in the basement before they dropped the bombs. They knew what the fuck they was doing. Wasn't nowhere for them to go because you got police shooting at them coming out the front, police shooting at them coming out the back. The only thing they can do is get to the lowest point to avoid the bullets. All of the police that got shot by friendly fire. And they charged the motherfuckers that was in the fire with the death of the police. They not responsible for them. There no bullets come out of the inside of that place.
Right. And it's crazy that our people don't know these things. And even if they was, you know what I'm saying, defending themselves, they still had every right to.
Yeah.
Sleeping on that. Why they shot her in the first place was because of the fact they wanted to buy that building.
Yeah, that was a hit.
That was a hit. They wanted to buy the building. She didn't want to leave. They came in through the side, shot him. And they figured, well, nobody would want to purchase a building where somebody died in, or no tenant would want to move in where somebody died in. So they brought federal charges against them, but see, ain't nobody talking about it no more. See how nobody ain't talking about it no more?
That's because they look like us.
Yeah.
Look, we the most forget about it motherfuckers it is.
Mm-hmm.
They killed one of us today. Oh, it was just them. Forget about it. Tomorrow we go on about our businesses like ain't that never happened. Shit. I ain't even got mad about the new shit. I'm still mad about them niggas getting Emmett Till for these crackers.
Yeah.
Or what I should say, under the pretense of crackers.
Yeah.
They even show it in the movie. When people be saying, that's not true. Didn't know black men some niggas when he got Emmett Till.
Mm-hmm.
He was gonna grow up to be Chief Littlehorn. Yeah. He was whistling fucking Dixie, the war cry. That's why they killed his ass. It had nothing to do with that lady. They used her for the patsy. She was the one that's going right now. Motherfuckers trying to get her ancient ass arrested. I don't give a fuck whether she get arrested or not. I want them niggas so I can find out who sent them niggas.
You know who I need to talk to? His name is, I don't know if you heard of him, but he claims to be the reincarnate of Emmett Till. And I met him at a psychedelic conference.
He wrote a book.
Yes, Tutim Ra. He looked just like him. And I met up with him again at Uncle Hank's place, Brother Hump, you know, scientist, wizard. And he's writing a book. Yeah. He writing a book on all the people that reincarnated as something else, you know? But they were the reincarnates of other people. And that was him.
When you study reincarnation, if you don't understand the Sybil effect, you won't know why it's 50 different people saying they're the reincarnation of a certain person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? If the person's DNA is in your bloodline and you vibrate similar frequency, this is the Sybil effect. This is why you can have the Queen of Heaven and Earth in 50 different cultures at once using the Sybil effect.
Yeah.
They all connected telepathically and they all got similar genetic markers that allow them to link on this frequency of the Sybil. The Sybils was the daughters of Isis, right? So they was go and like if we sent priestesses to go train, they have to get to the level of the master before they can come set up their own priests.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody they was asking about the sister you was talking about and how to get in touch with her.
Linda Bay on Facebook, and she can help y'all trace y'all genealogy as well as find the land patents. Because your family members had land patents. That's how they took your land away from you. And if you look at Ra's story, he also had that, I don't know, I think I saw it. It was today or yesterday. I don't know. I looked at your story and he was talking about how they took $300-something billion in land away from us. But she'll also help you find the land patents so you can get your land back. You know, so that you actually know, okay, where was your family at this time? You know, so you also have the record and you also have the intuitive record where you feel called to go, and then what actually does the record say too, you know? So she's on Facebook. Linda Bay. Yeah.
So I pinned it up there for y'all to see how to spell her name, and y'all can look her up on Facebook. There's some more sisters. I would love to get in touch with Chief Warhorse.
Oh, Chief Warhorse, the truth. I listened to her.
She's my girl. Yeah. You remember when I posted her a while back, ain't nobody know who she was, and I was telling them about fuck that shit. Let me post it so they can hear her talk.
Yeah.
Because she the one made me look deeper into the Trail of Tears, and it was so clear as day how they switched us out on the trail. Right?
Yeah.
Because they took us, we was the POWs from the Gullah Wars that they was using us as we was going to set up a reservation, but then they matriculated these Mongolians and these Huns and these Hindus in with the group, and then they auctioned us off as POWs. Here in the public domain, because this shit is time stamped and dated, and anything I say is sufficient for public notice. Notice to Asian is notice to principle. Action, reaction. We move, they move. They move, we move. But this right here, coup de grace.
checkmate. Right? This is the free throws that at the end of the game, ain't no more time left on the clock.
That's good.
Right? All right, now we dealing with Indigenous Rights Act. There's an article that tell us to use our oral tradition. Let's go to that.
All right. Right here.
Let me see. That's self-determination. We can start with that.
Okay.
Let's blow that up. Go to the top so you can see. This is Section 1, Indigenous People, Scope of Application. Right? The Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People applies to the indigenous people of the Americas. Who do it apply to, Elder?
The indigenous
The ones
people
over here?
Yeah.
Right. Self-identification as indigenous people will be a fundamental criteria for determining to whom this declaration applies. States shall respect the right to such self-identification as indigenous, whether individually or collectively, in keeping with the practice of institutions of each indigenous group. So this is telling you, if we follow in our customs and traditions, that's self-identification that show you who we is.
That's right.
Right? What they call hip-hop culture is still our culture.
Go ahead.
We had Tupac Amaru in hip-hop. We had Rakim Allah in hip-hop. X-Clan. All of this is influences going all the way back to Kool Herc. Melly Mel. The legends. Right?
Yeah.
So our culture is not interrupted. It's still ongoing, but you have somebody that's still in everything we do.
Go ahead.
I'm here to stop them. This is not a game. This is not a joke. When Cipico put the Pope on public notice, go to the next page, Elder.
All right.
What you passed it? You went the wrong way now.
Hold on. Which one?
Back one more.
Right there.
No, the one before that. That one.
Is it this way?
Right there. Blow that up. Yep. That's the one. In the culture, okay, this is Article 14, Systems of Knowledge, Language and Communication. Now, pay attention to number 1 because this is important. Indigenous peoples have the right to preserve, use, develop, revitalize. I mean, if it's something that we used to use, we can use it again, which is grandfather clause, and we're going to go over that in a minute. And transmit to future generations their own histories, languages, and oral traditions. Oral traditions is how we passed out information in the public domain. They pass it out in secret in libraries. We send elders out to teach it in the open.
Word of mouth.
Right? This is just part of my public service to the community. That's why I don't charge for nothing I do. It's helping getting the word throughout the community that we back for every motherfucking thing these people owe.
That's right. Let's go.
I gave them the instructions in the video. If you follow, hey, I want you to post this video, Elder, $1 trillion buyback.
Oh, yeah.
It's $1 trillion recovery.
Yeah. Send that link to me.
Okay, so now that's when I was telling them how to recover everything by buying, controlling interest in everything moving. We have access to Big Mama's vault now. Once we buy control and interest in everything, then we take over as a hostile takeover. We seize everything because we got the first position of right already. And now we dealing with the rights of the people collectively, the other tribes that they don't recognize in their law. Mm-hmm. That's why they named us Black, Negroes, and colored folks. I got them receipts too. They'll be posted on my Instagram and Facebook. All these receipts will be posted. Right? So if we supposed to go back to our oral traditions, I'm agreed. How do you know I'm agreed? Because I can recite history across varying different tribes and tell you what happened.
Go ahead.
How did we get here? Where did we come from? Who mixed with who where? That slave story is a goddamn lie.
That's right.
I can tell you this because I had to investigate it before I ever became an elder. I'm studying the problems that I found in state of emergency by Kwanzaa Kunjufu, who declared a state of emergency for us to deal with as elders when it comes our turn, young elder.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So why phase one so passionate about Baba? He supposed to be.
Yeah, it's like his little grand.
He supposed to be. That right. He supposed to be. So he got his ways. We a certain way about how we move. Right? We don't move the same because if everybody moved the same, we would cause a calamity and be all in everybody's way.
Right.
This, what I'm doing on the internet, is following the path of least resistance to reach the most amount of people to tell them that this shit is truly over. Let's find something else to talk about. Turn to another slide.
Okay.
Okay, this right here is SCOTUS ruled in the landmark case United States versus Throckmorton. The fraud vitiates everything. We already showed them the fraud when they went behind our back and wrote that contract in the blood of Crispus Attucks to put us in the conjure war.
Go ahead.
We didn't know that. That's a fraud. It was what you call in law an a very vital piece of exculpatory evidence that we could have used to get out of it, because we could have forgave the blood if we knew what we was doing back then. That's why they kept it a secret. Only because I'm a witch doctor off this land over here, Mississippi red clay dirt walking, Hyoka High Chief. This is how I know that all of these frauds was taking place on the land, right? It's by categorically asserting that fraud vitiates everything. The SCOTUS affirms that perpetrating fraud undermines the entire endeavor, the whole contract, the complete judgment. The final results still have been nullified since fraud vitiates everything, right? All of these contracts is predicated up on a constructed fraud by trying to convince the people they government. They not our government. They a private enterprise operating in the capacity of government as a legal fiction to defraud the people out of what they call tax dollars. So in our oral tradition, by me putting this shit in the public domain, that make it time-stamped and dated. That's fucking evidence. It's archivable evidence. This is why I'm on the internet.
This shit might go over their head, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, they're going to have to come up to the level then. If they ain't on this level, they ain't understanding what I'm saying, right? Let's go to the next one. Ex post facto law. This is leading up to the grandfather clause. The ex post facto law is from the Latin for the action or after the fact, also called retroactive law. Is a law of retroactivity, challenges the legal consequences or status of actions that were committed or relationships that existed before the enactment of the law, right? Conversely, a form of ex post facto law, commonly called amnesty law, may be decriminalize certain acts or alleviate possible punishments. For example, by replacing the death sentence with life sentence retroactively. Such laws are also known by the Latin term in medias, right? So the law that came after the fact is everything that came after the agreement of the Continental Congress in a Iroquois Constitution. Predates the entirety of all what we call North American law, modern day jurisprudence, the bar associations. The bar associations is barristers. They don't got nothing to do with us. They got titles of nobility from England. They was christened in under King George.
Go ahead.
Right? So They the ones was chartered to do business and to hold us in psychological slavery and servitude. This is what the John D conquest was about. John D was the ones who told Elizabeth I to write the blood of one of the chiefs in the contract called the Constitution that they lured our so-called 5 civilized tribes in without them knowing. That's fraud.
Yeah, go ahead.
Their whole shit is fraud. Go to the next one.
Somebody in the crowd in the chat say, Roy, get these niggas, man. Get these niggas, man.
Okay, we can skip this one because that's dealing with what we just went over. But that's just another ex post facto description about making up a law after the fact. This is what happens when the ex post facto's law runs into a law that was there first. It's called a grandfather clause, right? Scroll up a little bit, Elder, so you can see a grandfather clause, also called a legacy clause, is an exemption that allows persons or entities to continue with activities or operations that were approved before the implementation of new rules, regulations, or laws. Such allowance can be permanent, temporary, or instituted with limits. They always had a time limit to how long they could stay here. They've already acknowledged on the Senate floor and by presidential actions that they acknowledge the conclusions to the contracts. Their time is up. It's over with. Right? Let's go to the next slide. So by the grandfather clause, this is how you get, okay, we gotta go to the first one of them. That looks like that might be the last one.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, non-treaty tribes. The relation between non-treaty Native Americans and the United States is complex and has been shaped by a number of Supreme Court rulings. So let me tell y'all where I got this from. I was having a conversation with AI and I asked AI about the non-treaty tribes, and this is the answer that AI gave. In the early days of the Republic, the Supreme Court held that Native Americans were domestic dependent nations. That means a protectorate, for those who don't know. A domestic dependent mean that they got to take care of you like a parent take care of a child or like a farmer take care of his animals.
Yeah, pet.
That was subject to the ultimate authority of the United States government. How? How, Sway? They don't got nothing to do with us. This doctrine was used to justify the government expropriation of Native American land and resources. In the late 19th century, the Supreme Court began to recognize that Native Americans had certain inherent rights, such as the right to self-government. However, these rights were often limited by government powers to regulate Native American affairs. See, we ain't talking about allowing the enemy to tell us what to do. We know how to do it ourselves. And I was up there chilling. I was preparing for a show with Young Elder. I
Okay.
knew I wasn't gonna be done tonight though. I still got some more receipts to pull up.
Okay. All right. What y'all was gonna talk about?
Who is the real Asiatic black man? So it was I had got a telepathic communication from the other side from Elijah Muhammad.
Ooh.
He said, explain who the Asiatic black man is, because in the nation doctrine, when they say, who are you? And then the answer is the Asiatic black man, the original man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. And it traces back to Hannibal and Son of Wukong and the different phenotypical traits that different genotypes produce. So it was some science in there.
When did the word Asiatic pop up on the scene? When did we start? You know how we talk about black and all these. When did we start using the word Asiatic, right?
All of those terms is in the 1900s. We wasn't using none of those terms before the 1900s. So in the sciences, the science used Latin terminologies to give names, right, to the different. Everything is named with Latin terminologies. You know, like the Wolverine, Gullah Gullah, which means the throat of the throat, because they say he got an endless throat, eat everything. You know, then you have the terms for other animals. Like when you're talking about cows, you're talking about bovian. All of the Latin terms that we extract the common name from the old Latin terms.
Right.
So even when you get to people, when you start talking about Homo sapien, Homo erectus, genus Homo, and then you start talking about the subspecies of Neanderthal, Australopithecines, all these are derived from the Latin language. Asia is a Latin rendition of Far Eastern term. The scientific term for the original people from they got several terms, the Denisovian, the Negritos, all these Latin terminologies. So when you realizing that we've been dealing with terms imposed upon us by Spanish speaking or Latin speaking peoples, then our understanding of the English language even takes a higher approach, because many of the words in the modern English language is borrowed from all of the rest of the languages around the world, from Chinese, from Hindi, from Japanese. You know, we got words in the English language that's not English in origin. Matter of fact, about 80% to 90% of the English language does not come from an English-speaking country, but they are terms that they have adopted an English pronunciation from a foreign language. So even when we get to talking about the tribes, when we call ourselves Chickasaw and Choctaw, those are not tribal linguistics. Those are exonyms. Cherokee, Mohawk, Tomahawk, right? Those are all English renditions. Because they couldn't pronounce our language, we was forced to do business with them using their language. And the business language became the common language over time, when if we was caught speaking our languages, we got murdered. So we deal with these terms now. So when Elijah say the maker and owner, the cream of the planet of God of the universe, we don't know he's talking about tribal Mississippian organics that they call Negrito. So I just was pulling up receipts and images to show what he's talking about. And that's what we're gonna be doing. That's over there.
That's gonna be a good one. When y'all doing that, Rod? So everybody can tune in. When y'all doing that?
I think we're going tomorrow.
Okay.
I still got a couple more. I got to organize my receipts so we could flow in the show format.
Right. Definitely. That's gonna be fire, y'all. Make sure y'all check out Rod Hayes, a Young Elder, tomorrow night for more information on that. Yo, Rod, in the chat, they said Rod got the ladies going crazy. They talking about your haircut, Rod. They loving the new haircut, Rod. They loving the haircut, Rod.
They right now they just hollering at the moon because I ain't trying to hear it.
Oh man, love the haircut. Yo, so Rod, so listen, what I want to ask you about, speaking of the moon, I heard B-Dale talking about September 17th yesterday. It was a full super moon and a partial lunar eclipse. I seen a couple of videos on it. Now I know they decided to do the whole Diddy shit right on the day of, or right the day before, the day of the whole, while this whole energy is open tour for us, they got this whole Diddy and that shit. There's thousands of videos of Diddy right now online. So everybody and their mom is focused on Diddy, but there's some spiritual shit going down. So I'm like, let me get Rod on what's happening right now, because I feel it, Rod. I feel something. The veil is thin. B-Dale said. Talk.
So the not only is it a partial eclipse, but it's also a Virgo moon. It's a Virgo super moon, which is the divine feminine. The eclipse is always representative of an energy shift.
Right.
This is a partial energy shift, and on the heels of it, you see a lot of stuff coming out that was before kept secret. You know, like the Diddy case been being investigated, we know of at least a year. And it took them that long to arrest him for a freak off party. And so the eclipse is the energy that it's like a opening of a door that was closed. It's a partial eclipse is it's a crack in the door and you can partially see in it. You know, so when we're looking at the day, okay, so the 9th month is the letter I. The 17th day is the letter Q. Right. So now we're talking about an intelligence code being dropped.
Right.
And we know that Diddy called out the CIA with his Bad Boy record label, because we know that the Bad Boys, the CIA motto is real bad boys move in silence. Right. So when he came out with that's a song with GINDJAB and Black Rob, in the beginning of the song, he's telling them bad boys come out and play. And all of this is this is to be a trigger for a series of unfortunate events for a bunch of unhealthy individuals that's been corrupting the system. And whether Puffy guilty or not, they haven't produced a person that said they was at the freak off party and didn't consent to what happened at the freak off party. So there's no, so all of the victims are what you call an assumed victim. This ties back into the assumed jurisdiction of the legal fiction. There's a whole bunch of assumptions in the Puffy thing, but Puffy's situation is not alone. It's not a standalone situation. It's a whole lot of big, powerful people in the music industry, music moguls, that this is connected to. Because remember, everybody that's in New York of any status know that Clive Davis was funding those parties. Everybody know it. It's not a secret. It's what you call an open secret. Everybody know that Lear Cohen was also implicit. We know that on the West Coast, you had Jimmy Iovine, Ted Fields, and that crew also financing the same events on the West Coast. So we know who these people protected by, because they the ones who be calling these artists up, threatening their life if they don't perform, if they don't sign over they record label or sign over they masters or sign over their residuals and they ASCAP and they BMI, and they trying to make sure that the artists stay broke. Right. So all of this stuff has to come out because everything in the age of Aquarius got to be exposed. And now we living in the time where the truth is way more disturbing than the lies that we've been told. You on mute.
Once again, family, I see if some of y'all coming in late, Queen of Fool cannot make it tonight. So I was just about to just cancel the show and call it because I just did a show. But I said, let me see if my brother Rod could come on real quick because I wanted to just ask Rod about the energy that's in the air right now and get his take on some of the things out there. So Rod had availability, and if he has availability, he's always willing to come on the platform. So y'all make sure you show the brother love for him being willing to, dedicate so much time and energy. So Queen of B, she's going away, and I think she'll be back on the platform in about 2 weeks, y'all. So in about 2 weeks, Queen will be back on the platform. But I thank everybody for their patience.
Hey, if I was ego driven, you would have stroked the hell out of my ego, replacing Queen of Fool with me. That's an ego stroke.
Oh man, I'm telling you, that's the queen right there. She done put in work, Rod. She done put in some serious work. And yeah, she definitely deserves her flowers. So shout out to once again, shout out to Queen of Fool. Rod, let me ask you this: with everything that you see going on right now, what would be some of your predictions for 2025? That it's a 9-year. I don't know how much you into numerology and all that stuff, but what would be some of your predictions for what's going to happen in 2025, my brother?
We're going to see so much stuff between now and January 31st that our head going to spin.
Oh, just between now and January, we're going to see. Because you're right, because the election and all of that. You think there's going to be an election?
I don't see it happening, but they could run the stage show over. Yeah. But the way it's looking now, Kamala's failing miserably as planned. That's planned. It's planned for her to fail miserably. And the representations, chucks and pearls, the purple and the gold and the pearls and all that, that's all biblically prophesied, scripted, secret society stuff. Right now, we dealing with intelligence agencies from around the world are working to push piece by piece these concealed information into the public. And they run these psyops. I can't call them nothing else. It's psychological operations. Is like running an illusion in Vegas. It's the same principles, but it's just a bigger stage. Is they can keep you focused on politics, and you see they just tried to apprehend the second attempted assassin on Trump.
Is that real? What do you think? They really tried?
Well, he didn't get a shot off.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing is it's in the script. It's in the script. And that's the second bite at the apple, as they call it. You're only supposed to get one bite at the apple. The second bite at the apple mean that whoever was behind it now, they don't get a third option. They failed twice.
Damn. Wow. Yeah, I mean, shit, you try to take somebody out twice and it don't work. I mean, damn, that's serious. And so what do you think about, we got the election going on. We also got the situation, let's just say the Pope. A lot of people, Blue Pill talks about the Pope a lot. A lot of people see him as the highest seat of power and authority in this and over the continents. What do you see happening with the Pope? Is the Pope still going to be around 5-10 years, right?
Remember, Pope Francis was really the last Pope. Mm-hmm. And the dude that came in to be the second Pope under him was an android. They take him apart and put him under the bed at night.
Rod, you starting again. Rod, come on, man. Rod, you doing it again. You come on, Rod. Come on.
I posted the receipts 2.5 years ago that he was a whole robot.
And then they use the CGI at the windows when he's doing them speeches. He just turn around and disappear. I mean, shit, the Pope ain't nobody. All he is a highest ranking pedophile priest cult member on the planet.
Right, you just said he was a robot. Did you hear yourself?
Yeah.
Oh man.
They take him apart, disassemble him, put him in a box, and slide him under the bed at night.
Oh man, that's wild.
That's why you don't see him as often as you used to see the other popes. They only bring him out when they need to make a big deal out of something, like when they had to rescind the Discovery Doctrine.
Right, yeah.
Right? That's a big deal. Because everything that's built on the Discovery Doctrine was rescinded with it, whether you know it or not. It's a fruit of the poison tree doctrine in law. Right? So that's the secondary pope. Pope Francis, you know, he ducking and hiding, right? But he ain't really ducking and hiding. Most of those bishops, cardinals, and high-ranking priests over there in the Vatican City, they're not there no more.
Right.
They're gone.
Wow.
They just Gitmo, World Court, international tribunals, Russian court. They doing the same thing. Remember, Russia pulled a ship up to Guantanamo Bay. We thinking that this was some military posturing based on media coverage, but it wasn't military posturing. They was dropping off international criminals that they had apprehended, while all of these different government agencies around the world, it's not just one country. It's not just America. It's like almost every country on the world is involved, right? Because Switzerland was a neutral country. The only country that was authorized by international law to go in there was Interpol. But Interpol was given permission by several other governments to use special forces as sheep dipping for Interpol support. So they used some of the Navy SEALs, some of the Green Berets from over here, and some of the special forces from Russia, from China, from both North and South Korea. And we don't know nothing about it because they're not telling us this in the news, because they got to control a sloppy narrative that's falling apart in our face while we watching it, but we acting like we don't see it falling apart.
Damn. You know what I want to do too tonight, because we're not going to be here too long. I want to take I want to get some of y'all to ask Rod some questions. So Rod, you mind if I bring a couple of people on stage and they ask you a question?
Oh, no, go right ahead, Brother Rich.
All right, one question, family. Don't get on here and think you're going to get a 30-minute consultation from Rod. It's one question. I'm gonna be on here for about a half an hour. I just want to get Rod on real quick and show y'all some love and show. Matter of fact, let me because somebody mentioned earlier. Let me post my brother Rod Cash App so y'all can show love. I seen somebody said support the brother, protect the brother. SikApe. Make sure this brother, he wasn't even supposed to be on tonight. And the brother showed love. So make sure, let me put this up on the screen. Yeah. So did I put that link in the chat yet? Let me put it again. For anybody who want to ask Rod a question, come on in. I'm posting the link to the chat. Come on in. You can ask one question. Then we're gonna ask a couple of questions. Then we're gonna get out of here. Rod, I gotta call you too. We gotta do another Patreon, man. There's some stuff I want to talk about, and I want to talk do a part 2 about the whole ESP thing, the extrasensory perception. So I want to really go on that. I'm gonna call you tomorrow. Maybe we can set something up for next week. But
let me Rich know how we do.
Indeed. But yeah, I really like that last one Rod did. Make sure y'all go over to Patreon. The Gathering of Masters is on there. But I did post the link in the chat. Let me get a question from the chat while we wait for anybody who wants to come on. Somebody said, is Peru named after Heru?
No, Peru. That's I didn't do the etymology on the word, but it's not named after Heru. It's just a homonym. But it could be Masonically linked through the temple priest to name it that based on the homonym.
Okay. let me ask a couple of more questions in the chat. Everybody just talking about Rod's haircut. Let me see some questions in the chat. Okay. Do you advise changing your American status and rescinding your USA ID documents?
And you ain't got to deal with that paperwork. You are who you are. Your sovereignty is anytime you got to write a piece of paper and send it to somebody to assert your sovereignty, you're not sovereign.
All right, let's get to. I see a couple of people in the back. We're gonna get to a couple of questions before we get out of here, family. Once again, I want to thank everybody for coming on here. Let me just put this back up while we get to a question. Hold up, y'all. Give me 1 second. I can't find Bay. Tamaria Bay. What's going on, sis?
Hey, Brother Rich, how you doing?
All right, all right. How you doing? Where you from? What's your question?
I am from the Carolinas, so we got that real high energy right now in the building.
Oh, yeah.
You know what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's.
Oh, yeah.
Reconnecting back out here with the world, with the planet, getting energized.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Rod Hayes, my man.
What's going on, sweetie?
Rod, you know what? I wanted to talk to you for so long.
Uh-oh, there you go.
Listen, let me tell you something, Rod.
Hey, Brother Rich, hold on 1 second. I got somebody at my front door. I got to go run to the door right quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. No problem. No problem. Yeah. While we do that. Hey, sis, while we wait. Oh, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, while we wait, let me put Rod Hayes' Cash App on the screen. While we do that, hey, sis, are you doing anything in particular tonight? They say yesterday was a full moon, partial eclipse. You doing anything? Any rituals planned? Anything you got going on that for tonight, sis, or anytime soon?
Well, you know, I started about a week ago because I felt led to start like detoxing. I had like this pull on me where I kind of was like tired. So what I've been doing more so is journaling a lot and just staying in tune with my intuition right now, trying to keep my frequency as high as possible. Because I realize that even through these perilous times, we still have to tap into ourselves, stay in ourselves, and be, in the world, but not of the world. So,
yes,
yeah, I've been journaling. I do a lot with herbs, and that's really a big thing for me. And I get my kids involved because I have 5 daughters, so they're all young goddesses, trying to keep them connected. But mostly just keeping my vibration high, being aware of my consumption of certain things, because what we put into us becomes a part of who we are.
Indeed. Excellent. All right. Go ahead and ask this question, sis. Go ahead.
My bad.
Right.
Appreciate y'all patience.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Rod, I had a dream about you a while ago. And it was after you did the show with Brother Rich talking about tapping into your totem pole animal. And I wanted to ask you this question ever since this show was done about a year ago. You said to call out to your totem pole animal, your spirit animal, ground yourself on the earth, talk to the earth, and, the connection is already there. So you're just amplifying it with your intention, right? So I did. I had been seeing like owls everywhere following me. This is no
Black
lie.
girl magic.
No lie. Like I got pictures of owls. I got feathers from red birds left all over my backyard. My daughter and I just recently, my youngest daughter, we started, doing some little rituals or whatever with bamboo and stuff like that, right? But this owl, no, be quiet, baby. One moment. This is serious. But this owl followed me everywhere for like the past 4 years, but more specifically, it's been the last year. Owls are just following me everywhere.
So the one thing you got to do when your spirit animal is trying to contact you is obviously the owl. The owl governs the guidance through dreams. So the owl, when it guides you through the dream, you know it because it's like you being carried by the owl. You can sense the owl behind you, but you can't see it in front of you. That's because you are embodying, the owl is embodying your energy to show you something in the dream realm. It's black girl magic. Ain't no other way for me to say it. Black girl magic is the highest form of spirit communication between the animal kingdom and the human kingdom. So when we communicating and you seeing the red feathers, that's cardinal feathers. It's a cardinal flip, which means it's coming from an ancestor on the other side that's trying to get your attention. But you haven't seen the cardinal, you just seen the feather, right? So 9 out of 10, the owl ate the cardinal.
Wow.
Which is telling you that there is a superior spiritual force that's trying to contact you higher in rank than the cardinal. And it settles on the owl. And normally the ones with the top owl totem, they either got big eyes or big breasts.
Let me take these glasses off real quick. They're not too big.
But the slang term for big breasts is hooters, and hoot is what the owl do.
Oh my God, that's insane.
Bro, where you come up with this shit, man? Where
That's
Yo, he knows all this shit. Yo, you a bad man.
So when you go to see the hooters, you see the eyes on them. Them are owls' eyes on the hooters logo.
Damn, man, how you come?
Wow. Oh my God.
All right, that's crazy. Hey, sis, I want to thank you for your call. We're gonna get to the next call.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Appreciate the call, man.
That Hooters thing was brilliant, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Oh yeah.
What's going on with you guys?
Oh man, I love watching you guys, man. Thank you guys for everything you do with the spiritual community. And I've been trying to ask you guys this question for like months now. So
all right.
Hopefully you can answer it. But there was the installation of the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya, I think in January or February. I practice Hinduism. So I wanted to know what that installation, means symbolically, and how does it pertain to like the new age of Aquarius that you guys talk about?
Okay, for the people that's watching, first of all, I didn't hear the exact words you said, but when you tell it, when you say the word again, tell the people the English translation of it if you know it.
The Rama Mandir in Ayodhya. Ayodhya is the city that Ram was born in, and Ram is Hindu incarnation of a god named Vishnu, who comes to preserve civilization.
So he's talking about the Ramayana is the text. Ram is the heir to the throne. Ram was sent into exile by some witches who condemned him before his father and said he wasn't worthy, but he was the most worthy among them. So his father allowed him to go into exile for 5 years before he comes back to reclaim the kingdom. This is also the story where you were introduced to Hanuman in the Hindu tradition, in the Ramayana. And Hanuman becomes the companion to Lord Ram as he's making his journey through the wilderness. But this is also symbolism because it's the same story as Hanuman making his journey to the west to find the Buddhist scrolls. So what he's talking about is the incarnation of Vishnu, the sustainer, Brahma, the creator, and Shiva's the destroyer. The sustainer is the one who maintains the balance throughout the realm of the earth in order for everybody to live in harmony. When the balance is lost, then comes Shiva to destroy it, and Brahma restores it all over again back to the beginning. So these are the cycles, right? These are your yuga cycles, your great years. It's all talked about through the Hindu doctrine. So what the particular event that he's talking about, I didn't check for it. So I don't have the exact answer to what he's asking, but I'm familiar with the general concept of the Ramayana and what's taking place in the text.
Yeah, we definitely. I got to look into that too, man. I definitely appreciate you asking that question, Mr. GT.
All right, please tell me in a future show, man. Please tell me in a future show.
Definitely.
I always come back with the answer.
Got you. All right, brother.
Thank you.
All right, peace.
Hey man, I seen you almost start beating my chest.
Brother, you gotta I think your computer's on, brother, and I can hear my voice. You gotta turn your computer down. There's like real bad feedback.
Okay.
Check that. Yeah, I can't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, brother. Yeah, usually they let me change some settings or something. It's just,
we gonna get back to you. We gonna Jay, what's happening, my brother?
Peace, family. How y'all doing?
Right. How you doing?
What's going on with you?
Doing well. What's happening with y'all?
All right. You just finished smoking this son, man?
Nah, man. I'm good. I'm actually sitting here working on some homework with my dog.
Excellent. What's going on, brother? What's your question?
So I've been recently watching, been following you, Brother Rich, for a while, and then started watching you, going back, watching old videos with Rod and stuff. And got a lot of questions, but one question I've been wanting to get answers from is, what would you say is the best way to trace your etymology? You know, like I got families that's got a direct lineage to the Gullahs and to the Choctaw. And so it's like, what would you say is the best way for me to like, not just trace it, but also even like in my family so that they could want to help me trace it as well?
Well, one of the things that waking it up in your family, most of us family members is not interested. Most of them, you can put them on an army of wild horses to drag them through the mud to try to get them. They're not waking up. They're not gonna wake up until the ones who wake up get the benefit of waking up, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh shit, I should have woke up." So, but the best thing for you to do is find the oldest people in your family to talk to, and go over their story, and it's going to tell you where they was from, what they did. It's going to give you information that's going to give you leads to look in geography and find out what tribe was situated where, you know. So a lot of it is talking to your elders. And a lot of the elders, like a lot of our elders and crossed over, but we got a lot of centenarians still here. And most of us know somebody in the family that's 100 years old, but we don't talk about it. You know, 85, 90 years old, but we don't talk about it. They still here. They experience all of that stuff from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s to the 2000s, and they still here. Right? And we don't want to talk to them because, you know, we was raised that that old fool don't know nothing. They know all of it. They lived it. And they seen the different classifications, the reclassifications, all of that being taken place, the benefits that was our birthright be given to other people. They watched it with their own eyes. Everybody that's 100 years old is a walking codex of information. You just have to learn how to question them to get to the part of the information you need the most, but it's there.
So I probably should record the conversations and write notes down.
Yeah, because now you can go back, you can review it over and over, you can hear it in their voice. And not only that, in 5 generations, you'll be able to play the recording for your great-grandchildren. We about to be old as hell because they coming out with the telomeres, which is a pill that extend the telomeres on the genes that allow you to recover from illnesses like it's almost a miracle, but it ain't a miracle. Then they got the med beds coming. They got the healing pods. I call them the healing chamber, but they call them the healing pods. Different stuff like that. So that information, as much as you can gather from the elders now, and you can have information to share with the posterity of the future, because we done went through some real tumultuous times in this 500-year protracted struggle against these foreigners. And we so clouded by the enemy that we don't even know who the real enemy is.
Yes, sir.
You know, they look like us, but they ain't us. And they point to somebody else saying that's the enemy.
Hey,
absolutely.
Hey, thanks for the question, Dr. J.
Thank you so much. You all be safe, and may peace be upon you.
All right, brother. Peace. All right, shout out to that brother right there. Let's we got Anunnaki Ra.
Yo, what's good? What's good?
What's good with you, God? What's good?
I had a question, man. I just want to say I appreciate y'all for doing what y'all do. I'm kind of new to the channel. I just started about 2 months ago, but I'm from Chicago, and what hit me was, you know, when Rod say I'm Mississippi clay dirt walking, cause my grandma from Mississippi, she from Tutwiler, Mississippi. My grandfather from Jackson, Mississippi, and then that's on my mom's side, and then I got my on my pop's side. They Gualagichi, but her last name is Manuel. But we don't have the hyphen L. So kind of what I want to ask was, how do I understand that information? Because she said her father was a healer and he used to heal with his hands. The Manuel side. Now she said her father would always tell her when she was younger that her name was their name was